one. This week on a special edition of The Big Show, we celebrate the life and legacy of Prince Rogers Nelson, simply known as Prince. We invited two amazing fans of the iconic artist, Taunja Pegues and Rodney Fitzgerald, to discuss his truly influential life and, most importantly, his music. All on episode 451 of Keeping It Real with FilmGordon. Let's go. All right, and welcome to the latest episode of Keeping It Real with FilmGordon. I am Tim Gordon. I am joined by my partner in crime, the one, the only Charles Kirkland Jr. What's going on, bro?
Man, this has been a wonderful week. I'm just happy to be here with you again after such a wonderful Black Reel Awards. I know you're going to talk about it, but I'm jumping the gun. I'm here. I'm glad to see you.
Well, man, I'm glad to be here too. I'm happy to have our two guests on today, even though I wish it was under different circumstances. We are now a couple of days away from the 5th anniversary of a day that all of us remember very, very well. Matter of fact, I was actually on the air on April 21st back in 2016, and we stopped in the middle of the show and went, wait, what? So here we are now, 5 years later, and I want to introduce, first and foremost, Taunja Pegues, a woman that I've known for close to 30 years now, and one of the biggest Prince fans that I know. She was the first person I thought of, and I told her she was the first person, but when I called up Rodney, I called and told him he was the first person I thought of. So y'all were the first person I thought of, but Taunja Pegues, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tim. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, and Rodney, I've kind of jumped the gun. 2 years ago at our inaugural Lakefront Film Festival, we celebrated the 35th anniversary of Purple Rain, and Rodney was my go-to guy. We had an amazing Purple experience. Taunja was on travel, and she wasn't able to be there. But Rodney, it's good to see you again, man. I haven't seen you since that night.
A month of Sundays, man. It's a privilege and an honor, Tim, Charles, Taunja, as always. Taunja actually facilitated the festival to me. She gave me a call and said, hey, I'm world travel right now and I'm busy. Do you mind if you just...
I'm traveling right now.
I'm going to give Tim my light work and have him come and help out. Yeah, so it was an honor. We had a great time.
All right. Well, we are going to dive in momentarily, but Charles kind of jumped the gun and we will just talk about, I want to thank everybody who helped make last week's 21st annual Black Reel Awards happen. It was fun last week. I know Taunja, I give her a lot of credit. She was in the room trying to stir folks up. We haven't really educated them yet on how to talk back to us, Taunja. We'll work it out. We got another award show coming in August. But that was a lot of fun last week, man. Congratulations as well to Judas and the Black Messiah, which won the picture. Good film. And also congratulations to Rada Blank, who won 2 Black Reel Awards, including, screenplay for the 40-year-old version. So it was a good year. We're looking forward to what's coming next in August, so we will keep you there. So that's enough of that. This is all Prince today. I will just open by saying that I am not on the level of a Rodney and a Taunja, but I'm a huge fan of the artist, right? And I will start with my first interaction with Prince had to be in 1979 when I was in the 10th grade and I cut school and this new record had just come out and I did a Tom Cruise from Risky Business. I remember dancing around my house with some underwear on. I Want to Be Your Lover. I could not stop partying to this song. I was like, who is this dude? And then I was still too young and I didn't really understand the whole Uptown concept with the trench coat, the thongs and the boots. So he kind of lost me there. I came back for Controversy and 1999 and of course, Purple Rain and so on and so forth. Purple Rain holds a distinction to this day as the first movie I remember. I was 20 years old. I saw Purple Rain and I stood in line, got a ticket, watched it, loved it so much. I ran right back out the theater, bought another ticket, stood back in line and saw it again. That's how that movie touched me. And my love affair with Prince now is going on 35, actually now it's like 40 years that I've been rocking with this dude. So of course I was absolutely devastated. He's on my Mount Rushmore along with Stevie Wonder and Bob Marley is my 3 favorite artists. Saw him in concert 6 times. Love me some Prince. So I'll go first before we go to the Princeologist, which is what I call Rodney and Taunja. Cordell. Charles.
Cordell and Cordell.
It starts with a C. Charles, how strong is your Prince pimp hand? That's the first question.
Well, let me say first and foremost, I thank you for introducing me and letting me go before them, because I would be.
Yeah, they're gonna have the whole show after that.
Yeah. I might not ever talk again during this show. But I'm like you. When I was introduced, I was doing "I Want to Be Your Lover," "Why You Treat Me So Bad," and then 1999 came out. We were in a hotel in Ohio, and Don Kirshner's rock concert played the video for 1999. My mother came in the room and she said, "Who is that freak? What are you watching?" And I said, "Mom, this is Prince." And she's like, "He looks horrible." A few years later, when Purple Rain came out, why is it my mother is taking me to the theater to go see Purple Rain, saying, "He's hot, this is the greatest dude ever"? I'm like, yeah, okay, I remember when. And so, I go way back with Prince, but I do have one sad thing that I can honestly say is hurts me to my heart. I never, ever, 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 ever got to see him in concert. That's the one thing that kills me, that I never got to see him in concert. Right. And that's just painful. That's just painful.
All right, so we're on our Princeologist right now. And I will just say, when we talk about Purple Rain, think about for a second, being in a space in the 80s where you had an artist who had the #1 song, the #1 album, and the #1 movie at the same time. Yeah. That was Prince. And this was in the height of what I call Thriller Jackson mania. Prince still broke through. I'll start with Taunja, man. I mean, I've known you for a minute and I know your love of Prince, and you guys have done something that neither Charles and I have done. I have never been to Paisley Park, but I know that there are devoted disciples who are there multiple times a year. You are one of them, Taunja. Talk to me about when your love affair with Prince started and what it has over time, now that he has passed and we're talking about his legacy today, what it all means as we sit here now.
Just sitting here having this conversation means everything, because just by having this conversation, we're keeping him alive. And we're actually introducing people who've never experienced him or listened to his music ever, the opportunity to dig into a huge space and body of work. My introduction to Prince, I can remember the day vividly. I was at dance class at Ambeers Elementary School in Southeast Washington, D.C. And yes, I'm a Southeast chick at Larry Reed Dance School. And my mom, for some reason, I was late. I was late leaving class. So I was with my instructor. And, during that time, dance instructors play music that, you're not dancing to, or, something they would listen to at home.
Right.
He played Soft and Wet. And we danced, and I was like, oh my God, like I vividly remember it. I just remember telling him, "Can you play it over? Can you play it over? Can you play it over?" And literally we listened to the song probably 5 or 6 times in a row. My mom came to pick me up and I was telling her, "Oh my God, I heard this song today," because my family, truly, our gatherings were always around music. So I was telling her, I heard this song, this guy, his name is Prince, and this song is Soft and Wet, and my mom kind of brushed it off. Ran into my grandmother's house and was like, "Grandma, this song, I just can't get it out of my head. It's Soft and Wet. It's by this man named Prince. I just have to have it." My grandmother gave me money, and there was a record store up the street, and she gave me money and was like, go buy the 45, go buy the song. I took my change. I think back then it was like, what, 50 cents for 45? Took my change and went and purchased Soft and Wet 45. And that was the beginning of, you know, a long trail of me just following his career and, you know, going to see him live. The first time I saw him live was the tour for that album at the age of 12, when he opened for Rick James at the Capitol Center. I won a bet with my mom. My mom told me if I got straight A's, I could go see him. And I guess she thought it wasn't going to happen, but you don't give a bet like that to an Aquarius girl. Because I came home with straight A's and I had a chance to go see Prince with my stepbrother. And, you know, that was the beginning of me going to his very first tour and also witnessing his very, very last performance in Atlanta.
Wow. Wow. Rodney?
How much time do we have?
I know.
I mean, to me, he's the GOAT. I mean, someone I compare it to is probably Donny Hathaway is on my Mount Rushmore. Writing, composing, producing, arranging, entertainer, stage performance, his penmanship, bar none. Going back, my oldest brother, I think my musical styles to my oldest brother, because when he would go out on dates, I would sneak downstairs to his record collection. And I would go through and see like Average White Band, Spyro Gyra, you know, original Cameo. And I came across this cover with this, looked like a female with the hair out. I'm like, who's this female? And I put it on and I'm hearing the different vocal arrangements in the intro. And I'm like, yo, who is this female? My brother's like, this is Prince. So that was my first introduction. So
and that album was For You.
Yes. So I went through that through Prince. And I said, listen, this is somebody that's not from here. So my first concert was a Triple Threat Tour in 1999 with Vanity, The Time, and Prince and Philip. So that was over. Instruments, at the time, you know, it was the competition of Michael coming up and then Prince coming up. But I knew that Mike wasn't doing any instruments and he wasn't writing his own stuff. So I was like, I put that to the side. So after that, it was Purple Rain Tour in Philly, Thanksgiving weekend. Remember, it was like yesterday, 2 nights. Then it was Parade in Stockholm. Then after that, it was Love Sexy in DC. And it just go on. So fast forward over 90 plus shows I've been to Paisley since 95, trying to sneak in and doing different celebrations. It's just the culture and the fan base is like no other. I can't think of another group of people where you can actually sit across from an engineer, a dancer, a musician who played with your favorite fan and spend hours talking to them. We're a unique group. Plus, I call the light switch. It's an on or off thing. You either really dig Prince, or you're like, oh, that weirdo. So, you know, in the beginning, we weren't the cool kids. We were like, oh, you that dude that listened to Prince all the time. Now it's the end thing, and then, you know, oh, now we see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Super Bowl performance. We knew that 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. So especially when people come up and say, he's still performing, he never stopped. But it was a core base that always knew. Every year you was getting something musically and you would get to see him. But you had to have your ear to the ground and know when and where to go.
Exactly.
So that's basically, you know, and then now my job now is with my Facebook group and my other ventures going on is to keep the culture going. Like I have a clubhouse group we do every Sunday. And it's a great thing to see 18-year-olds coming in and saying, I listened to Adore for the first time, and that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. I'm good. This is what I want. I don't want it to be 20 years from now, like whatever happened to Paisley Park.
Right.
Bread Factory now. That's our goal. We want to keep this going on so my daughter's grandchildren will be able to go there and witness what I witnessed.
Well, trust me, Prince ain't going nowhere. So that's number one. But let's go through, because I was, when I conceived the idea of doing this show, I got in touch with Taunja, and we had some conversations around, because I hadn't listened to the originals, right? That album.
Okay.
And over the course of this week, and I think it was one particular day, I must have spent like all day listening to Prince albums. So I started at Uptown. I listened to that entire album. Then I listened to Controversy. I listened to 1999. And a lot of these albums, I knew all the songs, but it was revisiting them for the first time in like years.
Right.
Of course, Purple Rain. No disrespect to the Around the World and the Day folks. I did not listen to that one in the group. I went straight to Sign of the Times.
You skipped Parade?
I
See?
did. I did.
What did I say earlier?
Again, okay, all right, fine, all right. See, I don't want to get attacked, man.
Should we get up now?
This is a no judgment show, man. Don't judge me that I skipped Parade. But I wanted to talk about this a little because I'm listening now with ears that have been listening for 4 decades to Prince.
Right.
And I saw the evolution of his music, or heard the evolution. When I first listened to Uptown sounds to me like an album that I'm just trying to get some attention, man. I got some stuff that I'm putting out. I want to shock people with this album. So, you get Head and Sister. We sing about incest. We singing Party Up. So that album was fun and it was radical. And I could see how, you could see after For You and Prince that his music is evolving. You get to Controversy and it sounds a little more polished from what he did with Uptown. And, the song selection still a little more provocative. I think 1999 is when you're like, okay, he's on to something here. And by the time he gets to Purple Rain, but the big thing that I noticed about his music is that it started off to me really, really funky. And then it got, I guess, I hate to use the P word, it got popish to me by the time he got to Purple Rain. Because that album, to me, Black folks loved it, but it's not a soul album. It's a pop album. Am I wrong, Rodney or Taunja?
You want to go first, Taunja?
Break it down for me, because I'm a purist listening to music and thinking about styles, and Prince's style evolved so much. That's what I wanted to talk about.
He was a chameleon. Like, you got to really think about it. It's hard to really discuss his music in a genre because Prince was a genre of music himself. When you think about the scope of different sounds and what he did in his recording processes and how he came about just creating a song to put him into a pop or R&B or whatever category you want to put him into, you can't, because all of his music sounds like a big old pot of gumbo of all of that made into one. So to your argument about Purple Rain, I'm trying to see how I can say this lightly. The album was what it was for that moment, for that film. And it did its job. When Purple Rain came out, I thought to myself, I am getting ready to share him with the world now. Like, what I've been knowing all these years, the world is about to see. All the people that I had to argue with about the Prince versus Michael Jackson during junior high and high school, they're now going to get why I was like, it's all about Prince. So I understand the buildup to what Purple Rain offered you as far as an album and a whole movement and a film and just everything that came with it. I get the process, but he was so much more than that Purple Rain album and that movie. And if you really take the time and listen to his whole body of work, 39 recordings, you hear that Purple Rain segment was such a small portion, but it made sense on why he did it and when he did it.
Rodney?
The industry, Warner Brothers was already at their point with him as far as music and material after the second album, because after Prince, Dirty Mind was the change. It was like, okay, I give you the industry what you wanted. Now I'm going to show you what I really want to do. So private, all those Uptown, everything was his things that, okay, here I am. But guess what? Look at me as a Gemini. Shout out to my Gemini people. I'm going to switch it up on you. So 1999, totally different. Wait till Purple Rain. When he did Purple Rain, he was already working on Around the World in a Day and Fiddling with Parade. He was already seven steps ahead. Brown Marketing was like, they wanted the tour to go on longer, but he was already focusing on Parade. He gave them what they wanted. He wanted to do a film. We need a soundtrack for the film. All right, I'm going to give you these songs to go. I think he had like maybe 40 or 50 songs that the producer picked for the soundtrack. He was already ahead. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it from Purple Rain. You're expecting a sequel. I'm going to give you that Beatles Sgt. Pepper look on Around the World Today, and then throw you for another loop. They couldn't get it. So he was getting backlash from the Black audience saying, you're losing your funk. So what did he do? He brought you Parade. I'm going to give you that James Brown in your face and show you what I can do.
Exactly.
Okay, so you talk about Parade, and I guess this gets to the next thing. And I also want to let my Princeologists know, I know Prince's work. You cut me off talking about you got to listen to the totality of this music. I have listened to the totality of this music. We are having a conversation. Don't be trying to cut me.
You
need to go and listen to more Prince.
But to be honest, to me, Sign of the Times and Parade are my two favorite albums of his. I think those are the ones that show his talent the most. Except for Soft and Wet, when he played all the instruments, wrote, directed, produced the whole song, the whole thing himself. Those albums are just seminal Prince for me.
All right, so wait a minute. Okay, so this is good. And when you said he played all the albums on that first, played all the instruments, all 27 of them, right? Yeah. So the other thing that was interesting about Parade, which is what I was hoping you guys would fall for the bait, and both of you did. Both.
You didn't have to worry about it. That's my favorite album.
Right.
Prince made a career, which the one thing that Prince has done, and I love Stevie Wonder, right? And Stevie Wonder did it a couple of times, right? He gave Jermaine Jackson stuff like Sirius and wrote songs for other artists. But the thing that Prince did, which on originals really showcases how ultra talented he was, is Prince, instead of saying, I'm gonna give you this song, let me record it for you first. This is how you sing it, Mars Day. This is how you sing it, Maserati. This is how you sing it, Vanity 6. And he would just put these songs out. So on Parade, the word was, and you guys both know it, that he wrote Kiss for Maserati, heard it and was like, I'm gonna put that one out myself. I'm gonna be selfish and hold this one.
Well, actuality, Kiss instruments and bass line and stuff was originally done by Brown Mark for Maserati.
Right.
He came in the studio early, and that's what they used to hate. And he'd be like, what are you working on? And Mark knew it instantly that this is no longer my song. So he gave it to Maserati. They worked it out. He said, I'll tell you what, y'all go to lunch, I'll work on it. He took it back. I said, it's mine now. And that was the rest is history. So that's a little sore mark for Brown Mark.
Watch this. I knew you guys would have that story. That's why I just set them up. See, so look.
I don't mind.
Hit it, Rodney and Taunja.
It's for the culture. But go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
But with Parade, to me, my personal opinion, is my favorite album, favorite tour, and favorite film. Yes. If you talk to most Prince fans, hardcore, they'll say, okay, Purple Rain is a great film, but we like Under the Cherry Moon a lot better.
Yes.
And if you listen to Questlove and a lot of the critics in your circle that went back and watched it, they say, you know what, we were wrong. Because once again, Prince was 7 steps ahead. This was 1986. It wasn't for that time.
It surely wasn't. And you have to look at it it was a comedy. And when you really look at that film, just the beauty of it, shot in black and white, and where it was shot in the south of France, you have to really take in everything about that film, because it really was a comedy. And I know Tim is killing you because I know what you're getting ready to say, but please revisit the album and the film.
All right. The show is called Keeping It Real.
Hey,
My audience knows I'm transparent, right? So here we go. Purple Rain as a movie is literally a collection of videos, right? But a collection of videos with the breakout star and Morris Day, an alter ego Prince creates, right? This whole film. So that film is not a great film. It's a great music film. So I've already done, Charles and I have had the show. I think it's the #1 soundtrack to me in motion picture history, especially from a soul standpoint, right? And that's no disrespect to Curtis Mayfield, Isaac Hayes, Babyface, or anybody else. Purple Rain just really, really works, right? Under the Cherry Moon, my God, you talking about, and this is film critic Tim now. This is not the guy who loves Prince. This movie to me is not good at all, but it is much better than Graffiti Bridge, which I think is the worst of the Prince films. Graffiti Bridge is literally unwatchable. At least with Under the Cherry Moon, what saves it for me, and it's still a song that I listened to earlier this week that I get really emotional, is Sometimes It Snows in April. That song, man, and how prophetic it became in Prince's life, man. The fact that sometimes it does really snow in April. When Prince went away, that was a song that I remember watching Jimmy Fallon. I think, Taunja, were you and I on Facebook that night and we were watching the show and talking to each other about, how powerful D'Angelo's performance was of that song?
We were.
But I mean, no shade. I mean, I'm willing to go back. Actually, that's not true. I have been dreading watching Under the Cherry Moon for years. I'm like, no, I'm good. I saw it the first time. I don't need to watch it again. I can listen to the album. The album is really good. The film,
So Tim, I challenge you to do this. Watch Which Way Is Up.
I have.
okay.
Classic, funny.
Okay, watch that and then watch Under the Cherry Moon and then come back and let's have this discussion.
Okay. Because I love and respect Taunja so much, I'll do that for you. I mean, if Charles would have asked me that was not happening. I'm sorry, Charles, that was a shot.
I'm keeping it real because it's totally true.
Now, for Rodney and all you wonderful people who keep telling me that Parade is your favorite album, so we're just not gonna talk about we're not gonna talk about Sign of the Times.
No. I said
yes.
Sign of the Times is my favorite, but Parade is right there with it.
Right.
I was listening to Forever in My Life last night. That performance from Sign of the Times.
But you have to
That's an 11-minute tour de force where Prince takes you to church. With the band right there.
Yes.
Now we're doing product placement now? Okay. Yeah,
so Rodney.
I'm a communication graduate now. Come on now. What's up?
Sign of the Times, Rodney.
It's a great album. This doesn't mean it throwing any shade to it, but Parade does it for me.
Okay, and everybody here is 4 of us. We can all have our own personal favorites of Prince. So we're going to be talking about songs later because Taunja's already told me. I was bringing songs up to Taunja. Taunja was looking at me like, that doesn't do anything for me. I'm like, it does for me.
She gave you a work assignment. Go watch the 86th birthday show of Kobo Parade.
Yes.
And then you come back to me and let me know what you think.
So wait a minute, what was that again?
1986, Cobo Hall, his birthday show in Detroit, 1986. Parade tour. Watch that. It's on YouTube. You can find it. And you come back and you say, okay, Rod, you know what? I was wrong.
It seems like we're going to have to do a part 2 of this conversation.
Yeah.
And Tim has to do his homework, and then we further the discussion about his findings.
Well, the thing that's interesting is Tim, although as I said, I'm a huge Prince fan, there are folks that are out there that like me. I am not a Princeologist, right? Because, I've never been to the park. I've only done 6 shows. Rodney's talking about I've done 90 plus shows. I'm like,
I wasn't saying it like that. I mean, I have some friends that are 200 plus. So I'm very small in this genre.
See, so I represent the audience.
Yeah, we're having a reunion of Celebration tomorrow, the first celebration, and I got people coming on that's done 265 shows, 230. So I'm a small group.
Taunja, how many times have you seen him, Taunja?
You know what? I cannot come up with a complete tally, but I want to say, including after shows, probably in the 70s. Probably in the, I'm not as far as you, Rodney.
No, my last show was Freddie Gray in Baltimore.
Okay.
That was my last show.
But I would say probably somewhere in the 70s.
But you have Piano Microphone Atlanta. I mean,
Yeah, man. The last one. That's
I have
the
the very, very last
show.
show. And Charles,
go ahead.
And Charles, to you, since you have not seen him live, I mean, now's a great opportunity. All this stuff is being released.
Yeah.
You can view all of it in its entirety and in great sound quality. And, you know, you can actually understand what we experience live. I mean, there's nothing that will replace that. And nothing can replace that energy, but you can get a feel of it.
All right, I'm online today with Taunja Pegues and Rodney Fitzgerald, along with Charles Kirkland and myself, and we're talking about the legacy of Prince. One of the things that I shared with Taunja, since, you know, I'm very transparent on this show, is that I went through a period of about 20 to 25 years where everything Prince put out, I just bought it. You know, I didn't even need to know what it was. It was like, oh, Prince got something new out? I got it. And then I went through a period of about 10 years where Prince's music just didn't speak to me at all. I was like, I don't know what is going on with Prince these days. And then I slightly came back when I got in radio. And I remember I was sharing with Taunja that Prince signed with Arista for an album and put out, was it Rave Into the Joy Fantastic? And I was listening, you know, as Taunja and Rodney have both said now that you can watch everything on YouTube. I saw Prince at the Montreux Jazz. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Montreux Jazz Fest. Mm-hmm. And he did a live version of "I Love You, but I Don't Trust You Anymore." I'm not sure if that's the correct title, but man, I was like, wow, Prince is pretty special, because every time Prince does something that I really like, in my head, I go, man, that's Prince. The dude is pretty special. So you guys, of course, have viewed these videos, and as you said, everything that's being released, it almost feels in a way wrong to me, because when Prince was alive, none of this stuff, he had YouTube on lockdown. You couldn't watch anything Prince related, and as soon as he died, his stuff was all over the place. And I was like, I feel some kind of way. I don't know if that's what he really wanted, but I understand that it is a gift to the fans. How do you guys feel about that, Taunja and Rodney?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. You know what? It's mixed feelings,
right?
But I'm glad that they're there. I'm glad that they're there because of people just like you. I mean, we can still enjoy this. How he feels about it being out now, I mean, no one can say. And evidently, my theory behind it is because he did not have any direction on what to do with this, is that it's happening just the way it was supposed to. He always made statements about, you know, even with the material that's in the vault, as far as those recordings, he always, and even if you go back and look at any interviews when he was asked about the vault, he always made a statement of saying, one day you will hear this stuff. One day someone will be able to hear all this. I think he really wanted us to enjoy it. But at that time, when he was still with us, you're not going to enjoy that and him not get paid for it. Because, you know, the one thing that he was about was making sure that, you know, stuff was done in a way that it benefited him. So I think everything fell in place as far as the floodgates being open. I think it was supposed to happen that way.
Rodney?
The famous saying, in God we trust, all others must pay cash. That's what he believed in. Unauthorized stuff, bootlegs, is what we call it. He believes, and it's been quotes, that as long as you don't sell them and you pass them around, he doesn't have a problem with it.
Nope.
He said he even owned bootlegs himself. So it wasn't an issue. It was people making money and he wasn't receiving any revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to not see him live and to go to Google and pull up 1981 Paris show and see it in great quality and audio, that's a treat that you should check this out after this show is over. Like I said, 86, 84 in Atlanta. I mean, the parade tour, amazing. But it's a different journey each time you see a different tour. Act 2 tour, One Night Alone, Welcome to America, Musicology, they're all different. 21 Nights at the Forum, I guarantee you, each show was different. Even the same song, they were played different. Musicology, when it came to DC, I was there with the new MPG Music Club. We got to go in early, sound check, and he started doing Bustin' Loose. And it was like, DC, are you with me? And he was just going in, and it was just amazing. This is before the show started. You know, and it was like, ladies and gentlemen, coming up, Prince and the New Power Generation. It was just fun times. And you never knew. And Taunja would tell you, with a Prince show, it could be 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:01, they say, tickets go on sale in 10 minutes. And if you're not there and at that right time, you're looking through the window inside trying to get in. That's just the way it was.
Tim dances around stuff, but I'm gonna ask the hard question.
Come on, bring it on.
Go ahead, bring it.
What's the #1 concert? The #1 for each of you.
You can go first this time, Rodney.
#1 that I physically seen?
Yes. Yeah, we'll do that.
Wow.
Dang, Charles, well, that was harsh.
It is, because I really can't answer.
Parade Stockholm, 86.
You went to Stockholm, Sweden?
Changed my life.
Wow. Stockholm, Sweden. Okay.
To see Prince.
Why not?
Nice.
When Alan Leeds opened up with Prince of the Revolution, and he was like, Stockholm, I think I want to dance, and the curtains opened up, the floor was like this. And never seen anything like it in my life.
Wow.
So I was like, at that point, who's Michael Jackson? No shade to Michael, but it was a James Brown review for 2 hours.
See, I'm mad at Taunja, see, because that should have been last, man, because my story's not going to top that.
Well, you've been to 6 shows.
Man, so you want me to go first? You go last? Or how do you want me to do?
Go for it. You can go.
That makes it.
My favorite Prince show, actually, in addition to Prince, I actually met one of my best friends because we connected at that very first Prince show I went to. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I wasn't the first one, but I saw him, believe it or not, at George Mason in 1993. And I want to say it was the Symbol Tour.
I was there.
Yeah, that was a great show. And it was like 2 halves. And I remember early in the show, which I thought was really cool, I forget the song that they was singing, but Prince literally pulled out a Polaroid camera and they were taking pictures of the band and he was flipping the pictures into the audience. And I was like, man, Prince is, because I think he opened with, was it Sexy MF? My Name is Prince. All that stuff was on that album and then that show. And that's why I think to this day, was that Morning Papers was on that album?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my other's favorite that doesn't do anything but Taunja, 3 Chains of Gold. All that was on that.
That's not true, Tim. That's not true. That's not true.
I'm just hating because 3 Chains of Gold to me is just such an amazingly not written but produced. He's playing 3 forms of music in one song and brings it all together. It's just amazing to me every time I listen to 3 Chains of Gold. It's just a song from that concert and that memory that speaks to me from my favorite Prince show.
So I had to sit here and think about my favorite show, and it was an after show in Atlanta that.
Which one are you talking about?
I wish somebody would find a recording because I need that recording in my life. Let's hope it's in the vault. But Prince came on the stage and performed Bombs Over Baghdad by Outkast. And the whole club lost their complete everlasting minds. This was one of them after shows that when we came out the next day, the sun was up. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. It was a day before Thanksgiving. And it's one of those moments that I can't even remember like the whole set list because it was insane. It was insane. But that Bombs Over Baghdad moment, to just stand there and see him play that song. And Outkast had just released that song. But for him to play it and master it and make it sound like Outkast Who was just an amazing night.
See, Charles stole some of my thunder because I was going to talk about favorite Prince moments. So you guys, sounds like what Rodney just said and what Taunja just said would probably be your favorite Prince moments instead of just your favorite Prince shows. But those are moments that you can't replicate, that, you know, you were in the room when it happened. And I'm looking at Charles going, you never saw Prince in concert once?
Not once. It don't rub it in. I know it hurts.
Damn.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
As in the words of Rodney, my condolences to you, brother.
Sincere and prayers go out to you.
Man.
I mean, I've never seen Donny Hathaway live. I mean, that's what I would give my right arm to. But
well, you know, it's funny you would bring that up. Somebody asked that question about what concert did you miss, and I think the only person I can honestly believe, there's two people that I wish I could have seen in concert. One is still alive, the other one's no longer here. It's Bob Marley. I never saw him in concert. Okay. And Sade, for whatever reason, I've never seen Sade. I've seen everybody else. Never seen Sade. Never seen her.
I've seen Sade though. Okay.
You've seen Sade in concert?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Never seen Sade in concert.
Have it, they see.
And see, the thing is, I worked in radio for like almost, I don't know, 15 years. So I saw a lot of people in radio, you know, through people who came to town. But for whatever reason, I don't know whatever happened with the Sade time, and it just never worked out. Prince, I got a chance to see 3 times because I worked at a radio station. They was like, man, we all going to see Prince. And I was like, I'm coming too. So that's how we saw those shows.
I got my 3 Chains of Gold album.
Oh yeah, man. And then those guys, I know I didn't get the opportunity to do that, but I remember Prince flew out a bunch of program directors out to Paisley Park, and they all came back and told me stories about, you know, Prince was hiding in the back. He was trying to he was laying low. I was like, hey man, Prince is Prince, bro.
But you need to make that pilgrimage
to Paisley Park.
Absolutely.
You do.
So what? Talk to the audience and explain to them is there a standard operating procedure or protocol when you go to Paisley Park? Is there like admission? Like explain it, because I don't know.
It's a tour now. They have tours, different level tours, standard, VIP, ultimate, and they take you through what they can take you through. But if you were there back in the 2000s, it was totally different. He basically unlocked the door and say, lock it when you're done. Basically, you had the roam of the place.
Wow.
So I mean, that'll never happen again. But it was something to witness, to play with the buttons at the vault, go upstairs and look at the birds, be in different boardrooms, all 3 studios, the sound stage, the garage, the equipment room. It was just, but now they take you into certain, they've opened up some things and they've corner off, like downstairs you can't go, of course, and his apartment. And that's one thing we could not do.
So wait a minute, I have a question for you, Rodney. And Taunja, you can answer this one. So was there ever an occasion when either of you were at Paisley Park, when Prince was still alive, that like you would walk in there and Prince might be in the studio walking around, or he might be doing something? They never let anybody in when he was working. This is all, I'm using this from a common sense standpoint, that this is all when he wasn't there, or he was off touring, or he was off someplace else. Is that correct?
No, the celebration, he was there.
Yeah.
When we were there, we'll be mingling and conversating. He'll walk up and like, how's everything? At that point, he was comfortable with his fans. We would have parties at night, and the gracious host, walk up, how's everything? You guys are good? Yeah, we're good. All right, I might play tonight.
Wow.
And then he'll get
Rodney experienced that. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to experience Paisley Park until after he transitioned.
Wow, man. Yeah, because Rodney is like,
I'm not,
give me the keys and you lock up when you're done. Like, word.
that's basically what it was. I mean, he would come in, and I was just gracious enough to see his mother Maddie and his dad before they passed in 2000, because they passed right at each other. And Macy Gray was saying happy birthday, singing happy birthday. It was like a pinch moment. You were in there like with people from all over the world that love the same thing you do. And he's walking around like the host, like water's over there. We don't do alcohol. We'll leave when we're ready. And then he'll get up and say, I'm not gonna play tonight and play tomorrow. But how about Mint Condition tonight? It was just like one artist after another. Norman Brown, George Clinton, Alicia Keys when she first started, Morris Day and the Time, Nora Jones, Victor Wooten, Maceo Parker. It was endless. It was endless. And it was like, okay, y'all done with that? Let's try music. Michelle Farrell. You know, it because he just picked the phone up, like, hey, you want to come through and jam? Not a problem. People would drop everything.
See, so now that explains why y'all had spent so much time at Paisley Park.
it started to become a home away from home.
Wow.
I can tell you, when you get there, you just feel comfortable.
Man, that's amazing. Those are some great memories, man.
People would spend out, and we would leave there at 3, 4 in the morning, and the only thing left was open was Perkins. And then we would go there for a couple of hours and converse, go to the hotel, and start the day over again. And this was a week long.
Wow.
And these are people from Africa, Asia, Australia. And these are friends that I've known for 20 years.
All of you guys connected through the love of the music of Prince.
Yeah, and we will not see each other for 10, 15 years, come back and pick up right where we left off.
Wow. That's pretty stunning. So for Taunja, I know one of the things that you talked to me about earlier this week that I wanted you to explore was you talked about folks who are collectors of Prince's, of either memorabilia, his music. Talk a little bit about, oh my God, Rodney's laughing. Okay, Taunja, I'm gonna let Taunja take it, and Rodney, you can jump in.
I'm gonna be Homer and fade into the background.
Yeah,
Go
just
ahead.
fade back.
Excuse me?
Well, no, that's a whole separate community in itself.
It is.
And that's what I was talking to Tim about, because a lot of people don't realize it. There are some of us that, you know, that are collectors, that look for the different things just to have in your possession. And that's it's a whole different segment. It's a whole different world. That's the one thing that's so beautiful about the Purple community, is that there's so many different segments. And everyone's journey into learning about Prince, and even just enjoying his music and just enjoying his legacy, everyone's path is a little different.
Yes.
And you can't really say that one person is more of a Prince fan than another, because they all, and I hate saying fan because he never used the word fan, Prince family. All their paths are different, but they've all been united and come together because of the love of his music and what he has given to us. But as far as collectors, yeah, that's a whole we could do a whole show just on that, because collecting goes to memorabilia, collecting goes to bootlegs, collecting goes to ticket stubs, collecting goes to t-shirts. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, I'm sitting in my office now, and this office was supposed to be like my creative space to work in. And all of my print stuff has been like boxed up because I just haven't felt like, where is it going to go? And it seems like now my office has turned into a little Prince museum. And I'm looking around like I don't have another place to put something else at. So I'm trying to figure out where that's going to go to. But also with another thing with that whole thing, now I'm starting to think, okay, when I transition, what am I going to do with this stuff? So now I'm thinking like, who am I going to pass this on to? Who am I going to will this off to? Because I mean, collecting pieces no, not you, Rodney. Collecting has, it has a price value to it. It has a ticket to it. I would never sell. I won't say never, but there are certain pieces that I will never part with. But I have to realize now this stuff holds value, and where is it going? And the more I'm thinking about it, it's going to go to an institution, but now I have to figure out what institution am I going to donate all of this possessions that I have, because that's part of keeping his legacy alive.
So basically what you're saying to me, Taunja, is that despite the fact that we've got 30 years of friendship, that like none of the collection is coming over here, because
negative.
None?
That's a serious no.
Damn, that looks bad. Like, damn.
There was no smiles in that. You're like,
so wait a minute. So I'm gonna get Rodney's feel, and then I want to talk about some of the stuff, because I see there's a beautiful picture of Prince right over your shoulder.
Yes, and that's an original by my great friend Charles. Charlie Palmer. If you don't know him, he's a great artist. He just did the cover for John Legend's album. And this is one of his early pieces, one of his first pieces of work that he's ever did. And he happened to run across it and gave me a call and was like, I found this piece. It has your name all over it. And there it is. It sits on my wall. And I am so delighted and just grateful and thankful that I have one of his original pieces, because this is an original.
All right. Prince family member, Rodney. I don't see any artwork behind you. I see a purple skyline. Is that Minneapolis?
Because Rodney has a storage place.
Oh, so that's what. So Rodney, so how do you feel about collecting? And have you been collecting?
And as Drake would say, facts. My wife is sitting here. I'm about to get probably the side eye, but it is a problem. But you have to understand, this is like 40 years of collecting. So Right On magazines that I have are from the shelf that I pulled when I was 13.
Damn.
Not off of eBay. 87 Black Album original that was pulled, I have in the bank vault. Prince signature. RIAA plaques of parade. Invitations from parade party. Calling cards from Under Cherry Moon film. Posters. Limited edition invitations. 12 inches, the Get Off 12-inch, birthday 12-inch. The ticket from the 83 benefit show at First Avenue, where he did the parade album for the first time, the actual ticket. It's endless, but and for me saying this, it's an enjoyment, but it's a hassle as well. I mean, I have rolls and rolls of posters that are not even open because there's no room. Wow. But as soon as you say, hey, I'm gonna stop, there's something else. But for me, I'm at mid-tier. I know people that are way above me. Like she was talking about records. I know people overseas that if, let's say for instance, 1999 will come out, they will buy the 1999 version, America, the UK, the Africa, the Australia, from every country. And they will have them. Cassette, CD, LP. The new album coming out now, Welcome to America, they will have every version of the album. Posters, people are poster people. People have posters that are very rare, going back to the early days of Rick James. But everyone has their little, Under the Cherry Moon Parade, that's where a lot of my focus. So I have a lot of stuff like sketches from the film, stuff from the film, stuff like that. So everyone has their own, their move. I know Taunja, she loves buttons, show buttons, the original button. That's her thing. So everyone has their own little, but the storage space is getting. I had to upgrade. It's getting.
All right, let me just say something that I have never said in 450 episodes that we've done this. I literally wasn't paying attention to time at all. I'm just listening, and I looked down and went, "Damn, that's an hour."
It doesn't take long.
That was quick. Okay, so here we go. We have literally run out of time, but for my Princeologist, it's been 5 years, man, almost 5 years since Prince departed, man. You got to give me something in 30 seconds or less, man, because we are out of time. But ladies first, Taunja, 5 years, Prince's legacy, go.
All I have to say is that what I said before, things like this is what keeps his legacy alive. We have to keep talking about him. We have to keep celebrating him. We have to keep championing for him and making sure that that these conversations don't stop. That's what my fear is, but I don't think that will ever happen because we have people like ourselves that will continue to speak his name. I sound like I'm preaching, but it's that important to speak about him. If you're if you're a lover of music, if you're a lover of just being a creative or in any type of creative space, you should always look and see if you can find any more information about his legacy, and just enjoy it and just take it in and celebrate him.
All right, Rodney, since she took your 30 seconds, man, you got 15.
Not a problem. Celebrate, move forward this legacy. Great, amazing people like that don't last long. They're here for a small moment. And we need to take advantage of that while they're here after he's gone. He's still packing places and selling out, and he's been gone for 5 years. Mm-hmm. So this legacy will continue. Like Taunja said, we need to continue to talk, support the estate, first and foremost. Whatever feelings people may have, if you support the music that's coming out and the things that they're doing, it can continue. If not, you don't want Paisley Park to be a bread company in about 10 years. Okay. You want it to last as long as we're here. So just continue to support the legacy and the estate.
All right. And Charles, you're going to get the final word, man. I don't know what to say, man. Did you learn anything today, man, about the Prince community? The Purple community?
I learned that we need to have a second show. And I think that maybe for the Lakefront Film Festival, we're going to have to show Under the Cherry Moon as
there you go.
Yes. I've been trying to get that done. Yes.
I'm going to have to meet with my people and see if we can make that happen.
I guarantee you, if we get the promotion out, it will be a sellout.
It will be a sellout. We'll have a cosplay situation. It will be amazing.
All right, so I'm gonna close on that and simply say that I love this man's music. I've been listening to it all week. I'm gonna take the recommendations of my ologist that I will go and spend some time with Parade today. Is there anything else you recommend that I need to listen to?
That whole little pocket.
Right.
You can't go wrong with that pocket.
All right.
And just type in Prince Live on Google and YouTube. You'll find some amazing shows.
And you'll be on YouTube all day.
Yeah, literally all day.
Well, Taunja Pegues, Rodney Fitzgerald, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on. We probably need to revisit talking about this on his birthday in June and bringing you guys back. Charles Kirkland, much like we did with the Godfather show, here's another show you were on the outside looking in, but we love you anyway, brother. So as we tell you guys, go out and listen to Prince. Normally I would tell people to see something good at the movies, but find you a Prince project, man. And I don't care where you start from, just start listening to Prince. Trust me, you'll like it. Until next time, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on. Episode 451 is in the books. We are out. You guys want to say bye before, bye, something?
Peace be well.
And check out Welcome to America coming out the 28th. His new album, live album.
All right. And that'll do it. Thank you guys. You guys take care and enjoy your day.
All right.